Inferno! Been looking forward to reviewing this one. For me, this is in the top 3 albums of Motörhead's career, studio albums. For me, Ace of Spades 1916 and this one, Inferno. It followed that the 3 preceding albums have been a bit hit and miss. Was it Snakebite Love, We Are Motörhead, and Hammered 1998, 2000 and 2002, respectively. Yeah, they've been a bit patchy, in my opinion. But with Inferno, just all bets are off, and it's that recognition when I hear it, or when I first heard it, that this was really something new, which must have been when people heard Ace of Spades when I was too young, or 1916. And interesting, I mean, Ace of Spades and Inferno production is, as they say, technical parlance, shit hot. Interesting for me, 1916 has some of the production actually isn't that great in my opinion. Sounds very muffled. So, which just even goes to show just how strong the tracks are, or were and are, that they shone through that. But anyway, back to the album in question. Inferno had absolutely no problems in that department. It was Cameron Webb, excellent producer, and I think he stayed with them to the end after this. But it was his first album with them, and as he said, the first meeting in Motörhead hadn't gone that great. When he apparently they met up like by a swimming pool or something, and it was like, you know, drinks and a grill or something on a lovely LA day. And Cameron said, "God, man, I've been wanting to record with you guys forever. You know, I want to record a really heavy album and that." And he got Lemmy's tried and true, you know, we're not heavy metal, we're rock and roll thing. He was like, "Oh shit, I've balls this one up." But you know, he rode that band like, you know, back in the day with the Ace of Spades Vic Mail did. You know, he wasn't, I mean, different apart from Lemmy, but still, you know, with Fast Eddie or Filthy or Phil Campbell and Mickey D, still very strong characters, headstrong. I don't know about headstrong, stubborn. Well, it's just strong characters. Yeah, I mean, you have to be in a band like to have been in a band like Motörhead. And you know, people that wouldn't take very kindly, who wouldn't suffer fools gladly, and would call out bullshit very quickly. But Vic Mail back in the day was not scared to tell Filth Animal Taylor and Fast Eddie and Lemmy to, you know, shut up, keep quiet, or do this bit again. And similarly with Cameron Webb, that's the thing. Mickey D apparently was recording his drums, and he recorded one track. He said, "Come on, that's great, let's go, let's get on for the other," because Mickey D always took pride in how quickly he could nail his tracks. You know, he got them done very, very quick. And Cameron said, "Well, hang on a minute, you know, I think you need to do this again." Mickey D was like, "What? No one says that to me." And Cameron Webb played in the track, so I think made a mistake here, a bit of a mistake here. And by about the third thing, Mickey D said, "Oh, okay, fine, I'll do it again." And Lemmy said afterwards, "You know, we noticed that you stood up to Mickey, and if you'll stand up to Mickey, you'll stand up to the rest of us." And I think there was some subterfuge. Cameron Webb, there's a great interview, a short interview of him on YouTube. But it's something, I can't remember the technical parlance of it now, but something to do with Lemmy's the bass sound Lemmy wanted. I mean, I don't even know how well Cameron Webb knew the band beforehand, because he said the first ever recording, he went and he set up Lemmy's stack, and then Lemmy came in and said, "No, it's completely wrong," and he did that thing where he turned all the treble way up and stuff. And Cameron Webb said it just sounded awful. It was peaking way too high in that. But the thing is with Lemmy over the years, with his hearing, he kind of knocked off the top edge of his hearing. It wasn't so sharp, obviously, you know, 30, 40 years of standing in front of what he called his Marshall amps, you know, Killer or something. so yeah, unsurprisingly, I mean, some might say he got away lightly. I mean, look at like Pete Townsend of The Who or something, chronic tinnitus from the mid-80s. But anyway, Lemmy, yeah, his hearing wasn't quite so sharp. Although, as Hobbsy, the live engineer, once said, you know, he'll never, if you're standing behind him and you offer him a drink, he'll very quick to turn around and say, "Oh, cheers, mate." But so Cameron Webb said, you know, the sound he wanted was just not going to work. It was not going to work. So he had to, later on, he had to go and he kind of had to sort of fix it on the controls. I can't remember what some subterfuge he did, but Lemmy never noticed. So there was a bit of, you know, confronting the guys head on, or not confronting, but, you know, dealing with them head on, saying, "No, you got to do this again. Don't do that." And there was a bit of subterfuge. So he was, you know, a clever man. He chose his he chose his moments, you know, when to sort of put them in, you know, when to tell them definitely not to do something or do something again, and when to sort of just use a bit of subterfuge, I think is the word. So, and you got that great meeting then of an excellent producer and someone who understood the band, you got to know the characters, and they became good friends. I mean, they're doing a concerts on YouTube as well, and Lemmy said, I think this is from Inferno. I think Cameron Webb's out there, so if you see him, give him a good kicking. Yeah, they became mates and all the rest of it, and so great producer. And to the album, the actual tracks, because you know it doesn't matter how great the production is if your songs are crap, it's not going to fly. And in this case, it flew so high. Terminal Show. There's one. So Steve Vai was guest on that. Thank for me. Yeah, Steve Vai. I'm sure he can. I don't know. I'm not into whittlers, you know. But he just did a couple of guitar solos, I think, which is fair enough. And you know, he's always seen being interviewed about Lemmy and Motörhead and stuff. He knows his stuff. He's very respectful. But yeah, I'm glad they didn't over egg the pudding with that one, because you know, one guitar solo a song, or at the most two, and that's probably enough for me. Killers, killers, we kill you till you die. We are the killers. Yeah, really good. And then 3 for me is the one In the Name of Tragedy. That's an instant stone cold Motörhead classic right there. A fantastic riff, everything just kicking in. Yeah, brilliant. And then and that thing when I've said before, I never had to properly explain it, but that Zen type thing where Lemmy's obviously triggered to just go that extra bit with the lyrics, and you get such fantastic lyrics. Were you ever young? Were you ever blind? Were you ever shake, little brother? You know, did you go to bed? Did you bang your head? Does it still feel pretty funky? And yeah, brilliant lyrics that really make you go, oh, what's going on here? This is cool. You know, man, I know these lyrics off by heart. As soon as I do these videos, I go to quote them. I just go, really quite irritating, because I want to quote them. I want to quote more walking them, but then was the funky monkey bit or something, you know. And good change in pace. You got The Name of Tragedy, which is a fantastic riff and really showcases Mickey's drums as well and all that sort of thing. And then next you got Suicide, which is a kind of, well, it's heavy, but it's more sort of, well, it's slower, isn't it? It's more laid back. It's got definitely definite groove to it. And then some great tracks, Down on Me, In the Black Fight, In the Ear of the Wolf. I mean, those 4 tracks, just fantastic, just heavy riffs. There's no bullshit. It's pure classic Motörhead. Good, sharp, really meaty riffs. That's the word, meaty. Fantastic production, great guitar sound. Yeah. All those songs are just one after the other, really good, solid. Keys to the Kingdom, another interesting one. You know, changes the pace a bit. Great lyrics. I love it. You know, and once again, the lyrics gone up my bloody head. You know, carved out of stone the world's epitaph. Walked through the graveyard, just had to laugh. Brilliant. You know, just keep on going till you can't go any further. That's it. Yeah, you know, walk through the graveyard, just had to laugh. You know, where we're all gonna wind up. So just stay like it for as long as you can until you're in there. Yeah, but a great. It's how they could get riffs that technically were E. Well, if you guitar mind at E, A, and G, and just create something new. That's the sound of a great songwriter, a classic band. They can take these chords that have been used 10,000 times, 100,000 times in other songs, and just make them sound really fresh and new and a really great song. That's it right there. Smiling Like I love that. You know, in the evening we can dance, piggy in the middle. I will show you true romance. Smiling like a killer. Lemmy doesn't rhyme. yeah, who cares? So yeah, I'll bend the rules here, man, because I'm just writing about some psychopath or something. Just fantastic. Yeah, I'm the one you never see in the dead of night, peeking through your window, staring out of sight. Man, it reminds me of Salem's Lot. Those kids scratching at the window, the vampire kids, which used to scare the spine out of me. In fact, it's only recently I can watch it on my own. Um, yeah, a bit of a diversion there. Smiling like a killer. Yeah, just fantastic. And then at the end, wow, an acoustic number, Whorehouse Blues. Lemmy playing the harp. What a great harp player he was. Especially on I last heard, I think, on Crazy Like a Fox off Overnight Sensation album. Fantastic harp player. Really good track. And this was, if you know the name, Peter Stringfellow, the owner of Stringfellow's nightclub. Apparently the video was going to be filmed there until Stringfellow actually found out what was going on, and it was like, a song about a whorehouse, and Peter Stringfellow said, no, our establishment is far too high class for that. You can't do it here. So in 24 hours, they had to find some other club, which they didn't. I think in Ealing, which is a town in London. Whorehouse Blues, yeah, and they played that one live. I think this was another one they used to be like a little break in the live set. And of course, Mickey playing guitar. And it was like, oh, Mickey, you can play some guitar. Yeah, But I thought you played the drums. Well, yes, you can play more than one instrument. Yeah, but that'd be a nice little break. I think that came towards the end of the set before they went into the sort of, Killed by Death, Ace of Spades, Overkill, or Bomber, finale. Those sort of series of set songs they had, the classics. They have a little chill out time. Whorehouse Blues. Yeah, just not much. Well, there's probably loads more to say, but to keep it succinct, yeah, just a great album. And Motörhead, it's not like 1916 where Motörhead were back. They had that terrible time like in the late 80s. By then, Motörhead, even before this was released, Motörhead, and especially Lemmy, well, it was all about Lemmy, wasn't it? I mean, Lemmy was acknowledged as the godfather of whatever genre of metal or whatever you want to say. The likes of Metallica paying homage to him. He could collaborate. He collaborated with Ice-T. He had all these everyone. If you didn't like Motörhead, you still sort of knew who Lemmy was, and everyone. He become sort of bulletproof in that. I mean, Motörhead were never going to become, a top band again, but they kind of secured their status. But with this album, they really shook things up. Amongst those who knew, it was just a shame because by then, because they'd been around for so long, it wasn't like this album was going to go, whatever it is, super platinum or something. But people who followed Motörhead and knew were like, "Whoa, this is something they've pulled the goods out here." I don't think that there's not one song on there for me that's even slightly filler. I mean, even 1916, which I love, it's got a couple of tracks on there that I think slightly fillery, but this one for me is just, it's so tight and hard, as it were. It's great. And again, just to put the icing on the cake is Joe Petagno, whose name I can never pronounce. Another, fantastic cover for him. And he seemed to sort of, reading interviews with him about what inspires his cover, he seems to have the sort of Lemmy-like hatred for mankind or humankind, that Lemmy had. Just seeing what inspired your artwork, Joe. People are interviewing him. It was like, millions of people are dying. There's water on Mars. I'm so fucking happy. He came back because I was so irritated about all that sort of thing. So some of that provided the inspiration from doing the cover to this fantastic album, and a fantastic cover. Great producer, great song, great band, great artwork. And I seem to remember Lemmy had done lots of little squiggles on when I bought the CD in 2004. Lemmy had done all these weird little characters and squiggles all over. It was pretty cool. Like sort of, I remember like some little jester type figure, from like something out of like Game of Thrones or something. But yeah, really quite interesting. I've got no example of that. I can't find anything here. Yeah, so that was Inferno, and so I say, amongst those who know, it kind of woke. It showed that Motörhead was still, Lemmy was pushing 60, but they were still going strong, and they were still capable of producing a classic album.